หลายคนสงสัยในตัวผมมาทั้งชีวิตแต่ผมไม่ยอมแพ้เพื่อจะพิสูจน์ถ้าอยากจะทำตามความฝันเราก็ต้องทุ่มเทสุดตัวครับเท่าที่เราจะทำได้ตัวผมมาทั้งชีวิตแต่ผมไม่ยอมแพ้เพื่อจะพิสูจน์
just yell at other people and just kill everyone else. I really have some fun with it. Yeah, I mean, does seem like the kind of guy, right? Just shout around, despite if whether you are the one that's died or not. Just have fun. Yeah. Free Fire. This is how we come up to be. We started Free Fire just to have fun, and now we are here in the Free Fire World Series 2022 Sentosa with game number 1 coming up soon. We, everyone here that's watching at home, it is time for you to bear witness. Game number 1 here in Bermuda. Bermuda starting it off strong. This is the one that we all love. It's the feel out process. How are you going to do it? But the thing is that, hey, there's only 6 matches. There's not a lot of time. Some of the other regionals, they play up to 9, maybe even 12 finals games. So it's going to be very high impact. Making sure that you get those points early is going to be super key, especially for some of these teams. A lot of these teams may want to change a little bit of the directional placing and, of course, where do they usually drop. But with this plane path, it starts off at 12 o'clock, ending off at 6 o'clock. There could be changes. Echo Esports usually head their way over to Bullseye. Yes, indeed, they will. Bastamundo finds themselves in graveyard most of the time as well. It kind of seems like they are going to be sticking to it. There are going to be some couple other teams that usually, well, they are going to places that they don't usually go. But here inside of Mill, it kind of seems as though Farang is being invaded by Team Flash, because Team Flash, they usually head over to Shipyard. Yeah, they're going to start, maybe they change things up a little bit. They have scrimmed against some of the other teams, so things might be a little bit different. But look at what Team Flash is doing. They know that another team is there. Farang Esports are like, oh, wait, hold up. It's the first match. We do not want to get eliminated 12th and come home with 0 placement points. And so we're just going to play it safe. We want to make sure that let the other team, maybe they step out, maybe they make a mistake early. But Team Flash definitely want to ensure that, hey, they represent Vietnam. This is not going to be a fun thing for Bio at all, because right off the bat, the first person that he finds is going to be K17 popping right behind of him. Bio gives the information over to the rest of the team from the side of Team Flash, but unfortunately, I don't think that this is going to be helping out too much, because K1, he does have what he had, and he managed to bring down his opponents with his Mac 10 almost immediately, with Team Flash in a really unfortunate situation. Lost. He finds himself at the top of this ridge, right by Mill, southern of Team Flash. They brought 2 person down to death already, and this is just a 2-man invasion by Loud. Yeah, Loud is in a great spot. It's all about the high ground here, and Team Flash are running for their life, and it looks like Team Flash is going to be the first one eliminated, all to loss, and it just seems like to be in a bad situation. You do not want to be there against Loud. This is just a 2-man invasion coming from Loud. This is just how crazy Loud can be, representing the Brazilian region. 2 members have destroyed the Vietnam team, Team Flash, and I don't think that that's going to be the end of the road, or rather the end of this part of the game just yet, because we have another fight on the opposite end of the place. Fastamundo, they found themselves a single kill onto Tanha, and now moving on to the next spot. Yeah, Fastamundo is a team that requires a lot of momentum to get going. I think that this is a great start to them, making sure that they got that kill and they're continuing to move forward. Bastamundo was an absolute menace in the Europe Pro League. This is a team that teams do need to be careful about, because, I mean, once they get going and they have that momentum, it's very difficult to stop them. Moving down south over to Hangar, it does seem as though Vastamundo is playing a little bit more of that safe kind of play. And I understand. When it comes down to Vastamundo, they usually have 2 very varying styles of gameplay. They go for very aggressive gameplays, such as the Blitzkrieg, or number 2, they go for the defensive gameplay, whereas they will get themselves in as far away from the circle as possible and just try to get themselves more farms. But actually, this is more of a hybrid. they are heading to the edge of the circle, probably over to Rinnam village, away from everyone else. In that essence, is defensive, but they are also putting themselves inside of the circle and possibly working towards the center after the second.
And you might want to change things up, right? You have your strategy. Yes, things might work, but it's still, again, the feeling out process. Things might be a little bit different than, from other teams, the meta, the regionals, and you can just change things up. Loud on the other hand are kind of like, hey, we know what works. We're just going to find people. We're going to kill people, and we're just going to roll on up.
This is going to be keep rolling. They're just going to keep rolling, man.
Of course.
Every single one of these teams, they're going to find their own way of rolling, I would say. Yeah, what kind of roll do you go? A side tumble, overhead shoulder kind of thing? I don't know. I mean,
we roll on out. That's all I'm trying to say, right? They're going to have some fun with that. But Evo's Phoenix, again, we haven't seen too much of them. They haven't actually seen anybody. Very patient team. They're looking for, again, late game, just surviving. They've definitely fortified this area. They know what's out there, and they've got great vantage points. Evo's Phoenix is all about that intel.
But for the Kings, though, it's kind of surprising how silent they are. They kind of give me the essence of Barang right at this very moment, because we have two teams that have been blasting their way through, or I would say one team blasting their way through, and that is Loud. They made their presence obvious right off the bat, and immediately getting themselves 3 kills. It kind of seems like they are emitting the essence of champions already, but it is way too early for us to say that. Their aggression doesn't necessarily mean a single booyah, but momentum is something that we can expect from Loud.
Warm up, get your shots in, making sure that you're hitting, right? That's all you want to do. And then if you do get into that firefight, take good, high probability fights, right? You don't want to go for the 50-50s, especially this early. You want to ensure that when you're getting them, you're getting it, maybe a third party, some sort of ambush where they're not completely caught off guard. But at the same time, look at how messy the clock tower, that area is right in the middle. It's very difficult, the danger zone right now, and we're probably going to see some more action.
Well, it kind of seems as though that Evo's Phoenix, they are sticking to their very own gameplay. They really didn't have to change anything at all. They usually play in the central part of the map, and they do not want to do anything to deal with any teams that try to get close to them. In fact, they will then find out if whether they really have to deal with these very specific teams. So looking at Evo's Phoenix, immediately just popping and trying to get a couple of shots off of Minerals esports is a little bit unlike them already, because they would like to play in close quarters combat, and them shooting out like that is inviting the teams to come and vulture them.
Yeah, but speaking of vulturing, I don't know who the vulture is right now. Wask, Evo's Phoenix, Minerals esports, there's so many different teams nearby. It's like, hey, if you take a shot, you're going to let everyone know. So I think at this point, I would play possum. I would play quiet, making sure that, you see what's there. You ambush anybody that might, enter your building more than anything else. But I think it's about playing safe.
At this point in time, we pretty much understood that Free Fire World Series is the event where every single one of these teams would want to play as passive as possible, because they understood what it means to take a fight. It is no longer that 50-50 scenario that we usually see in regional finals. It kind of seems a lot more like a 70-20, because you have so much more to lose than to win.
Yeah, and they're playing for that late game. Yes, we know that it's Bermuda and it tends to be, a little bit faster paced, but again, the different, probably circle 4 and 5 are going to be the key ones, especially on this map, but it's still so very early. Wask actually saw people, they're backing away. They're running away because they realize, hey, we don't want to take any sort of risk. We want to ensure that we're going to get around for that 4th and 5th circle.
A very slow game indeed. Teams are holding themselves inside of houses. They're setting up shop. And now with the 3rd circle being available for us to see, we are now able to understand where every single one of these teams are and who have the best position so far. With attack all around right smack in the center of the new circle, they are in the best position ever. However, that could also mean that whatever shot that they take, they are going to be attracting the most amount of attention. So it is up to them how they would want to play things out, especially since attack all around, they move very early into the game. And that is exactly why they managed to make their way into the center of the circle. That is just their playstyle. But close range quarters kind of game, that is what we should look out for. Because Van Tan, his charge buster is absolutely insane. But speaking of insane, attack all around, they're starting off a fight right onto Echo Esports.
What a great shot right there. And this is kind of the end. You talked about attack all around's positioning about it being great. My concern was that they could technically be surrounded. They're in this divot area where, they could get ambushed. It's not the greatest amount of cover, but they got a couple of knocks. Yes, more than anything else, their team will pick them up. I think Echo Esports will be fine at the end of the day, but it's one of those things where now you've kind of made them use a little bit of utility so that you've kind of softened them up a little bit. Now it looks like it's going to be the next one, Farang Esports going up against Evos Divine here.
Farang, with two other members hiding inside of the house. Like I said before, setting up shop, one of the other members have decided to get his way into the circle. So they understood that Pablo and Jesbu very likely is already in a heap of trouble. If whether they are able to get out, that is another question. But as long as one person is not within the same vicinity, they have a chance to get themselves back into the game if the two person that I mentioned is dead by the hands of Evil Divine. And this is not going to be an easy take for Farang. It is not going to be easy for Evil Divine as well, because Loud, they just came right behind of Evil Divine, and Sam 13 is not exactly in a very good spot at all.
That was a very interesting play by Loud. They were all the way in the storm, all the way on the east. They were just waiting it out, realizing that the first circle did no damage. They had their vehicles, and they were actually just staying put. And then all of a sudden, they had their vehicles, and they just stormed, Evil's Divine there and tried to get the early pickup. It seems like it's one of those ambushing attacks, the amphibious assault, so to speak. People get caught off guard. It's going to be very difficult for them to kind of affect them in that sense. But they're fine now. But it looks like again, Loud, this is their gameplay. They just want to storm in, and they're going to make it a very easy time for them.
In the meantime, Loud have made their way into the heart of Clock Tower. Flying by and driving by a numerous amount of teams. They have been making so much sound. They don't even have afterburner. And to be honest, I'm surprised that they are doing exactly what I'm seeing right now. Too many eyes is going to be in the heart of the Clock Tower. And Minerals Esports as well as Cloud, they are the one that may be in a heap of trouble based on what I'm seeing here.
Okay, you played it patiently, and now this is the problem. You have too many players, too many teams that were in this vicinity. This is going to be a very messy fight. Farang gets the revive up here, but Loud, let's see what happens. Can Noda actually get the kill? He does.
And just like that, he did manage to put a glue wall almost immediately right as after he saw one person getting himself right out of the doorway. But he's going to be fine for now. He hits himself up to the second floor. He finds Hoda. He tried to get a shot, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to do quite that because Hoda, he is going to be on the side. Brings him down almost immediately. But Noda, he found himself back on his feet because his friend is just around the area. 4 kills. No, make that 5 kills to the side of Cloud at this moment in time. They are going to be working their way through inside of this house. How far are they going to go? That is the question. But now, also, he found himself already taken out along with the rest of his teams.
Attack all around are going to see this. They hear things. They know things are going on. Wask is going to be in position. Attack all around have been the trolls under that bridge the entire time. They've been waiting for a moment like this. They want teams to team the third party each other. Vivo Kane and Wask are in a bit of a skirmish. Triple A is looking to just maybe get the flank, kind of find something, but they're playing it super safe. They don't want to give up anything. On the other fight that you talked about just earlier, Loud was actually insane. They're going to go, and it looks like they're going to go to Evo's Phoenix.
Well, Noda as well as Lost, they did manage to get themselves a decent amount of kills onto their name. We have quite a lot of things going on around the map, but the main thing is that we have to take a look. What is going on to Loud? Kronos and Noda, the last 2 members coming from the side of Loud. Unfortunately, Noda gets knocked down. Kronos, he found himself the kill. He managed to bring down Evo's Phoenix for now, and he picked up his fellow friend with 8 teams left in the map of Bermuda. This is just game number 1, and we are just getting the party started.
Wasp was eliminated in 9th. Cloud and Evo's Phoenix were going at it. That was the fight that we wanted to see. The 1 and the 2 of the last year's, Free Fire World Series going back at it. But it looks like Evo's Divine here, last one. Beyond all by himself. He's going to throw out some grenades, probably take out Pablo there. He should be fine, but Farang know that something is up. Loud is on the other wing. He needs to be careful about just surviving. It's the 8 teams left. They're not going to get a whole lot of placement points. This is a huge issue. But look at Loud, turning it up with 8 kills.
8 kills. K1, Noda, and Kronos. They did manage to get themselves out of adversary, and honestly, I am just baffled with how Loud and managed to turn the tides. Oh, how to turn tables, I would say. And now Beyond gets a shot down on the spade. Farah, they are losing numbers by the very second. And Beyond, he's gonna be the last person of Evil to find. He can't get his way into any form of vending machine, and he gotta have to play as a lone wolf all the way until he actually make his way over to that vending machine.
Oh, look at how this last circles are starting to go in. There's so many teams again, not a whole lot of space. People just want to breathe. But with that being pushed, Loud has been knocked out. Attack all around has gotten some good pickups. They've had some great ambushing, and they're making sure that Loud doesn't cross that river very easily. Loud is going to have a hard time going up against a Titan-like attack all around right there. The Thailand team being very strong, but FRG, like they've been eliminated.
Beyond, what happened to him? He just went up and running, gets himself a quadra kill, brings down the entirety of Farang almost immediately despite being the last member left all the way down south. He's gonna be pretty darn happy with the amount of kills that he have got, but the question is, how is he supposed to get his way into the next circle? Because the circle is being gate capped by Attack All Around. Perhaps the fight between Attack All Around and Loud will be able to give Defiance Beyond a way to get into the circle safe and sound.
Luca with a nice shot against Umbach. He makes sure he does get that kill, but Beyond, my God, he's turning it up.
Oh, Loud!
Turning it up.
Loud is already out of the game, and now we have 6 teams left available. Evil's Divine, Attack All Around, Echo Esports, Fivocade, as well as Vastumundo. Evil's Divine just found themselves out of the game as well, thanks to the hands of Hoisong. With the Charge Buster, they did exactly what they needed to do. The new circle had just popped down south. V-Gaming is pretty darn close to the circle. Vastumundo, the Blitzkrieg! That is what I'm talking about! The Blitzkrieg is eventually just going to be making their way over to Echo Esports. They are starting, and they are understanding what exactly is going on from the side of Vastumundo. With 2 members from the side of Vastumundo taken down, they are immediately going to be shut down!
Echo Esports. Oh my gosh, that's the duel, everything that you wanted. Vastumundo just trying to go in, but hey, sometimes it's too aggressive. You get caught out, and it looks like Echo Esports and V-Gaming are going to skirmish here.
There's just a little bit too much teams going on at the moment in time. Tanya, he finds himself right in the face of Koja because of the Charge Buster. He found himself taken down almost immediately. V-Gaming doing a really good job as Van Tan gets himself a kill down the deck guard. But not a players are now fighting themselves in the pack of the heat, unable to get themselves out of this unfortunate scenario. Attack All Around is going to be the main team that finds themselves in the center of circle, the best position possible.
Ambush. Oh, he kind of totally swung around, and he caught him off guard. V-Gaming is here. They've only got 3 players left. Attack All Around with 4, though. This is a team that's been, pouncing on. Their positioning has been amazing throughout. But look at Koja. Echo Esports, the last man surviving. Fivocade is still in this one, but it looks like it's going to come down to this. Probably last circle coming up.
It's a very small circuit now. Echo Esports knocked down at number 4. The rest of the members from V-Gaming, they have managed to bring up and erect a barricade of blue walls, separating them from the rest of the team. But Nando, he finds himself a shot down onto the glue wall, brings Bingsu down, and followed by a initializing shot that will bring him down.
Oh, good! Oh, that grenade was so good. Oh my gosh, V gave me 2 on that one, and it looks like Dark Love, he's got, so many kills to his name, but hey, they've got 10 from Attack All Around. Vivocade with just 1, but they're surviving. This is going to be the last skirmish between the 2 teams.
Oh, Nando! He does have the high ground, and the high ground it is. He finds himself a little bit of angle. He's looking for the next person, but unfortunately, they are just directly below him. It's not going to be easy for Nando at all, but he's found it. That is how we talk. That is how we go. Because the booyah for game number 1 goes over to Vivocade.
Woo! Look at how pumped up Vivocade are. This is the team that made it through the play-ins. They were 3rd place, but they are ready. I tell you, Vivocade, Loud, living up to their names in the sense of, hey, they are super loud. They're very aggressive. They want their presence to be known. Very scary, but I think it's going to come down to points. Vivocade didn't get a whole lot of points, but the thing is that Attack All Around got a lot of kills and the positioning, but we're going to have to find out because we have the highlights coming up.
The entirety of game number 1 was a mess. It's a chaos. It's a pandemonium. But in the end of it all, we have but one team that succumbed to the top, and that is Vivocade getting themselves the booyah.
Vivocade playing team, attack all around, playing team, top 2 in this one. Attack all around. You talked about their great positioning, and it was completely on point. They had vision of everybody. They were able to make some nice pickoffs. I'm pretty sure attack all around will score more points because of the kills that factor, which is absolutely huge.
Well, there are quite a lot of teams that actually managed to get themselves a good amount of kills to their team. So I believe that getting ourselves a nice little understanding of how that match standing looks like will give us a lot of a story, right? But the main question that I'm gonna give you here is Vivocade going to stand at the top of the overall standing just from this game number 1 for now?
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to come down to kills. I talk about kills being more important, especially
Tackle around
early.
really is the one.
I think a tackle around, we're going to have to find out. It's going to come up right now in match standings. That's going to be here. But let's see exactly what we're talking about. A tackle around, I told you, 10 kills. That's absolutely massive. 19 points. Vivocade, yeah, they got the booyah, and that will help with the tiebreakers. Very important. But they ended up in second place with 16 points.
Well, they do have 4 kills to their name only, but there are some other teams that did manage to trump them over. And that is going to be V Gaming with a total of 16 points, Loud with 12 points, and both of which have a total of 8 kills to their name. From this point on, they have got a respectable amount of points, with Evo's Divine with 10, Echo Esports with 10, Master Mundo with 9, Farang with 6, Evo's Phoenix with 4, and Wask with 2. And unfortunately, Minerals Esports and Team Flash, they have took their exit in game number 1 a little bit too prematurely.
Evo's Phoenix, last year winner, they're in 9th place with only 4 points. This is a little unfortunate for them, but they're realizing, hey, this game is completely different. The teams are actually ready. Everything is completely different from last year. We thought it was going to be, a cakewalk and all that, but let's look at the MVP here. This is going to be one where it's going to be no dispute whatsoever with Vantan. With 4 kills, V Gaming completely turning it on point. V Gaming really stepped up on this one.
Well, we have seen how he worked around with his sniper shots, a headshot, a back shot, and then anyone that's on the ground, he goes for the kill secure almost immediately, and he gets himself the 4 kills just from that. He has been the expert of the sniping industry for a while now, and we know even when it comes down to CQB, his charge buster cannot be frowned upon.
Yeah, definitely not. But let's look at the next one, which is going to be the kill leaders. We saw this throughout. There's a lot of attack all around, especially when you've got 10 kills to your name for that team. But Vantan with a 4, as well as Hoysong and JLX, all of these guys. How do you do this? Attack all around, literally attacking everyone from all around.
They have consistently found themselves in the center of the circle, and that is just the aggressive positioning that we are seeing from them. They are impressive with what they have done, and I gotta have to say, they are bold to do exactly that. And the key players-wise, I think they are bold and just an example to a lot of these teams as well, with Hoysong, 2 headshot kills, Tanya, a clue was destroyed with his Riptide Rhythm, and let's not forget about Vantan, lots of distance traveled, I gotta have to say, Koja, Kronos. As a Kronos, you gotta have to make full use of your time turner.
Okay, I love the fact that we're taking stats that are, not just kills and damage and all that thing, because this is a